Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Thurston County's annual swearing-in ceremony. I'm Mary Hall, your Thurston County Auditor, and it's my privilege to be the Master of Ceremonies today and to swear in our new and returning elected officials. I'm pleased to welcome Under Sheriff Tim Braniff, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Could you all rise, please?
Thank you. Guests, please join me in a salute to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. It is now my pleasure to introduce Sister Laura Swan, who will lead us in the invocation. Sister Swan is a spiritual director and archivist at St. Placid Priory in Lacey and faculty at St. Martin's University. She has a master's in Christian ministry and renewal, a master's in theological studies, and a postmaster certificate in spiritual direction. She is the author of 6 books, including Forgotten Desert Mothers, The Saying Lives and Stories of Early Christian Women. Welcome, Sister Swan.
I invite you to sit. When I was invited to speak here today, the only thing that made sense to me was to speak to you out of my tradition, which is a monastic tradition which crosses many religious traditions. That surprises some people, but the local Buddhists and Benedictines all speak the same language and we get along great. And what our tradition would say to each of us in our positions today, first and foremost, is to listen. And the rule of Benedict, the word listen was used in a form of a military command, not as a suggestion, because our tradition teaches us that the most dangerous thing we humans can do is to listen to one another. But it's a skill and a virtue we desperately need in our culture and our country today, and especially as we move into 2020. Let us listen to our colleagues as well as to our constituencies. May we listen to our own inner voices. What is our intuition saying to us? And to be slow to speak. Monastic tradition teaches us about hospitality. Let each one of us be the one who creates a safe space for listening and for authentic conversation. To create a space where voicing differences is safe. To be the one who invites input from our constituencies, the people most impacted by the decisions that we will make. How might we make Thurston County safer and saner? That monastic tradition teaches us to value the importance of community, the common good. Let us attend to our call to protect the dignity and humanity of each member of our broader community. May we treat our work with the dignity and respect it deserves. May we be mindful of the vulnerable in our community, even if we think our work doesn't impact them, because at some level it does. Let be a lifelong learner. May we bring that love of learning to our respective jobs. May each of us expose ourselves to life experiences outside of our normal comfort zone, and let this learning inform our work, our profession. And service. May we recognize that our work, while some days it seems mundane and unimportant, is in the service of the Thurston County community. May each of us take a stand for what we believe in. Know your call, know your values, and speak gently from those convictions. And may this be a fruitful and sane year ahead for each one of us.
Thank you, Sister Swan. That was beautiful. Before we get too far, I want to thank a few people. You know, events like this don't happen without a dedicated team. So I'd like to thank our elections manager, Tilly Naputi Pooler, and the elections staff from the auditor's office. A special thank you to Outreach Coordinator Callie Militi for organizing this ceremony. So I want to thank South Puget Sound Community College for allowing us to use this facility. So please join me in thanking everyone who worked on today's event. So I'm also pleased to have several elected officials in the room today. So please stand and be recognized when I call your name. And if you're being sworn in today, I'm not going to call you to stand up, so if you wonder why, okay? Pete Kenneth, Tumwater Mayor. Stephen Slater, Southeast Thurston County Fire Authority. Ty Menzer, County Commissioner, District 3. And John Thunheim, Prosecuting Attorney. Thank you very much for coming. Today is a day of recognition, commitment, and celebration. In front of our families, our friends, and community, you are taking an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington. The oath you take today, though, is the minimal obligation. In order to be successful public officials, we must do more. We need to be leaders. We must take office with the goal to work together and solve problems. We must be willing to make hard decisions and hold ourselves to the highest standards of transparency, integrity, and ethics. In addition to the oath you are taking today, I encourage you to make a pledge to yourself and to others in this room that you will work every day to not only uphold your oath, but to go the extra mile for our citizens. Congratulations on your election and re-election. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Now I'm honored to welcome our very special honorary speaker, State Representative Laurie Dolan. Representative Dolan has served in the state legislature since 2015, has been policy director for Governor Gregoire, and administrator in Spokane Public Schools. But she began her career in public service as a teacher at Bancroft Elementary School in Spokane. Representative Dolan helped foster cooperative relationships between teachers and administrators as a member of the Spokane Teachers Association bargaining unit. So welcome, Representative Dolan. It's an honor to have you.
So I am so delighted to be with you today. I had pretty major back surgery 7 weeks ago tomorrow, and this is my first big outing, so I can't imagine a better place to spend it than with all of you. And tomorrow I get to start physical therapy, so I'm happy about that. I wanted to congratulate all the newly elected public officials and their families, because those of us who have run for public office recognize it. This is not a one-person effort. It is very much a team effort. And your family and friends get drug in, whether they want to or not, to doorbelling and things like that. So congratulations to everybody that's here today. 3 years ago, when I was sitting in one of those seats, preparing as my new role for being a state representative, I realized that being elected was very different than being hired for a job. I came to my elected position after 34 years of work experience, mainly in management roles. But as I sat in that chair 3 years ago, I had huge butterflies in my stomach. It's a humbling feeling to know that so many people, many that you have never met, have picked you to do this job for them. That humbling feeling comes with a huge measure of responsibility. As I sat in the audience, I confessed that my biggest wish on that day in December 2016 was, please, please don't let me screw this up. That's honest. I could have chosen different words, but that's what I was thinking that day. When I first started teaching back in 1973, I was teaching first grade, and I always carried a pocket full of magic woofle dust. And I happened to bring some today, and if you look really carefully, you'll see it sparkle as I let go of it. And I used to sprinkle it on my first graders whenever they left the room. And that magic woofle dust would help them be quiet as they walked down the hall. And then they were invisible. The principal would come up to me and say, "Where are your first graders?" And I'd say, "I don't know, I can't find them." And 60 little kids would be giggling because they knew about magic woofle dust. Well, I brought some of that today to sprinkle on you. And what I want to do is use that magic woofle dust to get rid of any feelings you might have about the imposter syndrome. You've probably heard of that, about when are they going to realize that I actually don't know what I'm doing. The truth is, your constituents who elected you in Thurston County spent a lot of time and effort selecting you to vote for. They wanted you in this job. They wanted your personality. They wanted your commitment. They didn't want other leaders. They wanted you. The voters want to see you. So as you start these new positions, do not be afraid to be anything but who you are. Second, the arena of elected office is complex and often stormy and confusing. I know a lot more about my job as a state representative today than I did 3 years ago today. But I continue to learn daily. I learn new skills all the time. There's this old adage that says, when you are ready to learn, the teachers will appear. As you step into your new role, I encourage you to find your own teachers who are willing to help you navigate the new job. I rarely see myself as the smartest person in the room, but I confess on any given topic, I always know where to find the smartest person in the room, and that person becomes my teacher for that topic. So seek out your own trusted teachers who can help you hit the ground running in your new position. And just know that people are honored when you seek out their expertise. That is an honor for them, for a newly elected person to come and say, "Can you help me with this?" One of the most important leadership skills I learned early on was the only behavior I can control is my own. I'm a Hamilton fan, and I confess on my cell phone, my ringtone is the song "In the Room Where It Happens." Well, you just got elected to the room where it happens. But once in that room, you're going to find yourself in a diverse set of people who bring very different political views than yours. Since the art of leadership depends on the ability of each of us to have people come to our idea of the best answer, how do you get people to follow your lead? So here's my magic woofle dust and just a few easy to follow strategies. 1, positive presuppositions. Assume that the person or group that you're talking to is working out of intent to make the world a better place. The other side of that is don't be naive. If somebody proves to you that actually they don't deserve that positive presupposition, go by the adage, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Number 2, listen to understand. We've all been in conversations where it's really evident that the person we're talking to is really just listening for more things they can use against our argument. It's actually a great strategy to surprise them by actually listening to understand. Ask them questions. Ask them why they think that way. Ask them how they came to that viewpoint. Asking those questions will not only deepen your understanding, but it might take a foe and make them a friend as you work through more complex issues. Play my favorite game, and this is one that I learned as a first grade teacher. It's called Shoe on the Other Foot. Paraphrase back the views of the other person to make sure that he or she knows you heard them and that you understand what they were saying. Whenever I am in my diciest moment of mediation or negotiations, that's the technique I use. Not only does it work on first graders, it works with other elected officials as well. It even works with your spouse and your children. Try to find common ground. In the words of JFK in his inaugural address in 1961, he said, "Civility is not a sign of weakness. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Let both sides explore what problems unite us instead of belaboring those problems which divide us." As an elected leader, practice transparency. The dicier the topic, the more important it is for your constituents to know what you are thinking and why your stance maybe changes on a given topic as you learn more about it. And finally, but perhaps most important of all, keep your word. Even when you disagree wildly with another person, if they know that you will always keep your word, you will find many other topics that you can find common ground together. My New Year's wish for each of you is that your new position will be filled with great fulfillment, joy, and a better understanding of the dance we all share across government in Thurston County. Getting to know the people of Thurston County is by far the greatest gift these positions bring. And let me finish with my favorite quote from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Happy New Year.
All right. Words to live by. And now we will get to the swearing in of our elected officials. As I call your jurisdiction, so I'm going to do it by jurisdiction. So City of Olympia would come up, Tumwater would come up, Fire District would come up. So we're going to stand here, and when you're finished, your certificate of election is over there, and you'll need to sign that. So it is my pleasure to call the Port of Olympia, Commissioner Joe Downing. I'll see this so you can see it, okay? I
Joe Downing,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Olympia Port Commissioner
of the office of Olympia Port Commissioner
according to law and the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my ability.
All right. Congratulations on your reelection.
Thanks, Mayor.
All right. So not everybody RSVP, so I know there aren't electeds from all of these jurisdictions, but I'm going to read them anyway. Is there anyone from the town of Bakota? Okay. Candidates from the city of Lacey or elected officials? Go ahead and come on up. All right. When I say I, state your name. State your name, okay? And I'll give you that so you can look at it. Okay, I state your name.
I, Malcolm Miller,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Lacey City Council
of the office of Lacey City Council
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Okay. And for the Olympia mayor position, I'm going to call that in individually. If Cheryl could come to the stage. So glad you could make it. All righty. You can raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Cheryl Selby,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington.
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties
Can you cut that in half? Oh. I I don't have my glasses on.
and that I will faithfully and impartially
And that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Olympia Mayor
of the office of Olympia Mayor
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, my friend. You did it. And could the City of Olympia council members please come to the stage? Righty. So I'll hold this out here so you can use it as a little cheat sheet. Raise your right arm. I state your name.
I, Jessica David,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and state of laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of City of Olympia Council
of the office of the City of Olympia Council
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law and to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations on your re-election. Congratulations on your election. And then you'll go over there and sign your. Is anyone here from the city of Rainier? All right. Hi. All right. That's okay. Hi, Ron. Okay. I state your name.
I, Ronnie W. Kemp,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Rainier City Council
of the office of Rainier City Council
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
City of Tenino. Not here, okay. City of Tumwater. For you. Okay. Okay, so raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Leanna Dahlhoff,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Tumwater City Council
of the office of Tumwater City Council
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, City of Yelm. Righty. So you can, this is your little cheat sheet if you want to read. Okay. I state your name.
I, James Blair,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Yelm City Council
of the office of Yelm City Council
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Do we have anyone from Griffin School District? North Thurston School District? Olympia School District? Righty, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Maria Flores,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of
School Director of Olympia School District,
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Yay. Thank you.
Thanks for stepping up. Is anyone here from Minnaert School District? Is there anyone here from Rochester School District? All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Juana Rivera,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of Rochester School District Director
of the Rochester School District Director
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law and to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Thank you for stepping up. Anybody here from Tenino School District? Tumwater School District? All right, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Scott Taylor,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of,
of the office of School Director of Tumwater School District,
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to the law to the best of my ability.
Great. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for serving. Is Is there anyone here from Yelm Community Schools? All right. Fire Protection District number 3. I love your tie. All right, I state your name.
I, Robert Motzer,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
and perform and discharge the duties
of the office of,
of the Office of Fire Protection District 3 of Lacey,
according to law, to the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for serving. Is there anyone here from Fire Protection District number 6? Okay. Is there anyone here from Fire Protection District 8, South Bay? All right. All right, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Pamela Long,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington.
and that I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of,
of the Office of Fire Commissioner, South Bay,
according to law, to the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations. Fire Protection District 9. Hi. All right. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Dale Putnam,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duty
of the office of,
of the Office of Fire Commissioner, Fire District Number 9,
according to law, to the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my abilities.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Okay. Fire Protection District number 12. So I know you want to substitute a couple words, so when I say it, just go ahead and substitute, okay? Okay. You raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, John O'Callaghan,
Vanderhoof,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of
Thurston County Fire District 12. Same here.
according to law to the best of my ability.
According to the law to the best of my ability.
That's why I let you guys say it, not me. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got, love your tie. Fire Protection District 13. Fire Protection District 17. Hi. All right. Okay. Okay. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Gerald Pickett,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of
the office of Thurston County Fire Protection District 17,
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for your service. Congratulations. Anyone here from Southeast Thurston Fire Authority? West Thurston Fire in Rochester. West Thurston Fire, Little Rock. Tanglewild Park and Recreation District. Cemetery District number 2. Okay, if you can raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Clay Williams,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of
the Elm Cemetery District
according to law to the best of my ability.
according to law to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for your service. All right, well, that concludes the swearing in of newly elected officials. So we are honored to have Chief Justice of the Washington State Supreme Court, Mary Fairhurst, join us today as our keynote speaker. Originally elected in 2002, she was elected as Chief Justice by her colleagues in 2016. Chief Justice Fairhurst recently announced her retirement from the bench, but she leaves behind a legacy of access to justice, equality, and public legal education. Before serving on the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Fairhurst specialized in criminal justice, transportation, revenue, and labor at the Washington Attorney General's office, where she served for 16 years. She was also the second woman ever to serve as a president of the Washington State Bar Association. So I'd like to welcome Chief Justice Fairhurst to the podium.
Thank you very much. I'm having a little trouble with my voice these days, but I hope you'll be able to understand me. I'll try to speak slowly. First, I want to say congratulations to all of the Thurston County elected officials, those sworn in today and those who were sworn in or will be sworn in elsewhere. It's a very exciting day. You can tell by the number of swearing-ins that the people of the state of Washington, when our Constitution was formed, wanted to leave with the people the right to elect. And that's why we elect so many public officials and why we have the right to referendum and initiative in the state, is because we recognize the wisdom of the citizens, and they have shown their wisdom by electing you. I wanted to talk today a little bit about civility and also your call to service. My entire career has been in the public sector. I came to Thurston County 35 years ago as a judicial law clerk at the Washington State Supreme Court. As Mary mentioned, I was 16 and a half years in the Attorney General's office, and I am completing 17 years on the Washington State Supreme Court. And if it were not for my health, I would be continuing, because I have loved being a public servant every day of my professional life. And I think people are called to be public servants because they want to make a difference, and because they want to impact their communities, and because they care about their communities. And I'm sure your motivation to run countywide elections, to doorbell, to hand out the little flyers, all the things you do, which is at a great cost to you and your family and your friends, as mentioned earlier by Laurie, is because you really care about our community and you want to make a difference. In this day and age, we are seeing so much negativity and actual meanness and divisiveness. And I think it's really important that those of us who represent our communities and serve in our communities don't behave that way, because we don't have to. Every day we have a choice about how we're going to act and react. And we get to decide the kind of person we're going to be. And people that come into your offices or into your boards or meetings or your other groups, oftentimes they might not have regular contact with the government. And so it's really important that you see them and they know that they are being seen and that you are there to help them in whatever way you can. And so I think it's easy to sort of get into the routine. There's many, many people coming through, you're processing them, or you are having to respond to emergencies. But to just take a moment and realize that what they're going to think about Thurston County and Thurston County government and your specific part of Thurston County will be reflected in how they had their interaction with you. And I think each one of us has unique gifts and talents. We've all had our life experiences that have brought us to today and who we are and what we're doing. And I think it's really important that we be ourselves and that we be present. One of my favorite sayings, although Laurie actually used a number of my favorite sayings, I'll tell you different ones, is, what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? And I ask you to think about that in your personal life and also in your professional life, because we get to decide. Every day we get to decide individually and collectively the world we're going to create and that we're going to be part of. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. We get to decide that. You get to, with your colleagues, decide how you are going to be as a group, how you are going to interact with the public, how you are going to show up and make a difference. I have a favorite story that I always tell. And some people had told me to stop telling it, and I said I can't stop telling it because it is so important. And it's the story of a person who headed down to a beach after a big storm to see what had washed up. And standing on the bluff looking down, they could see there was just a lone person walking on the beach. But interestingly, this person was just taking a step or two, leaning over and picking something up and throwing it in the water over and over again. And as the person on the bluff came down to the beach, he could see that it was covered with hundreds of starfish. And when he caught up with the lone person on the beach, he asked what he was doing. And he says, well, I'm throwing the starfish into the sea. If I don't, they will die. Why are you doing that? There are hundreds of starfish. You can't possibly make any difference. And as the person leaned over and picked up the starfish and threw it into the sea, he said, well, I made a difference to that one. Don't ever doubt the difference you make and that you can make, individually and collectively, that together we get to create what we want to have here in Thurston County. And the kind of county we're going to be, and the kind of county government we're going to be, and all of the boards and the school districts and cemetery board, all the city councils, the mayors, the difference that we get to make by how we show up and how we engage. And Mary said, Mary wasn't able to be here last year, and so I was here last year, so I return engagement, really exciting. One of the staff said to me, I think it was Tilly, said, oh, I remember one thing you said from last year, so I'm going to say it again this year. And it's a story from my own personal life where I have 12 living nieces and nephews, and when they were little, I used to look at them, and I'd go like this. And before they could talk or do anything else, that little thumb could go right up. And what it meant, and what they learned it meant, because I still do it with them now that they're adults, was that I see you, and I think you're great. So as you're working with each other, be sure to see each other. Be sure to take care of each other. Be sure to tell people what they're good at, because they might not know it. Be sure to, together, make a difference. Because, as Margaret Mead said, never doubt what a group of thoughtful citizens can do to change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. So be collaborative, be civil, be present, be yourselves, see each other, take care of yourselves, and take care of Thurston County. This is going to be my last public appearance as the Chief Justice. On January 6th, the new Justice and the new Chief Justice will be sworn in. And so it's my great honor to be here with you 35 years after I moved to Olympia, which is my home and will always be my home, to wish you all the very best as you begin or continue your service, making a difference to the people of Thurston County. Take good care.
Thank you very much. That was very inspirational. So congratulations to all our elected officials, whether you are starting your service or returning to office. Local elected office is the closest government to the people. The decisions that you make have the greatest impact on the lives of all of our neighbors. How can we meet the educational needs of all of our children? How can we keep our communities safe? How will we address our most demanding problems? The public has put their faith in you to answer these questions. As you get ready to assume or resume your position in local government, I will leave you with a final thought. Public service is the idea that we meet our challenges not as individuals, but as members of a community. In a time of unprecedented political polarization, we need to be able to disagree without causing division. As elected officials, we can model civil dialogue that leads to deeper understanding of each other and leads us to solutions. We won't be able to solve our problems if we can't see each other as neighbors and listen and understand their point of view. So this ends our celebration today. Please join us in the lobby for refreshments and a chance to congratulate all of our newly elected officials. Thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.